did determine that the oxygen was on board and the crew could have used it. So now the question became, why didn't they use supplemental oxygen?
Do you have any idea how many airplanes fly every day? In today's world, many people often use aeroplanes for travel and entertainment. The number of flights worldwide has reached an estimated 120,000 per day. But despite this, there's still a lot we all don't know about how the aviation industry operates, from airplane safety to bad airline food, and how picking the safest seat might save your life. So join us as we unravel the top 25 flight secrets that the aviation industry is hiding from you. Number 25. Handcuffs. Kept on board. Have you ever wondered what could occur if a disruptive or aggressive passenger attempted to breach the cockpit or assault crew members during a flight? There's always a possibility of passenger misbehavior, whether it's due to being drunk, having psychological issues, or intending to commit a crime. That's why airlines provide airplanes with handcuffs and restraints to handle severe situations. These restraint tools are kept hidden and are only used by flight attendants if necessary. Usually they're made of nylon or lightweight metals and can effectively immobilize individuals without causing harm. The crew undergoes special training in proper restraint techniques. Statistics reveal that numerous disturbances occur on flights worldwide every year, ranging from simple non-compliance to physical assault. Number 24. Emergency oxygen masks. When you're on a plane, you've probably seen the safety demonstration about oxygen masks dropping down from the ceiling in case of an emergency. But have you ever wondered how these masks work and how much oxygen they give you? They use a chemical reaction between sodium chlorate and iron powder. When you pull the mask, this reaction happens and produces oxygen for you to breathe. You get about 10 to 20 minutes of oxygen from this. It's designed to last until the plane can descend below 10,000 feet. At this lower altitude, the air pressure inside the cabin becomes safe to breathe. But as the plane climbs higher, like above 15,000 feet, the oxygen levels in the air start to drop. This is when the masks become crucial for staying conscious. By descending quickly, the plane can reach an altitude where there's enough oxygen in the air before the mask supply runs out. The pilot has an oxygen system which gives them plenty of time to make this controlled descent. They can bring the plane down to around 8,000 feet, where the air is safe to breathe without the masks. Number 23. Dimming the lights. As your plane gets ready to take off or land, you might notice the cabin lights dimming. Dimming the lights helps your eyes adjust to darkness, just in case there's an emergency and we need to evacuate. When the lights are dim, your pupils get bigger, making you more sensitive to low light. So if there's an evacuation, the emergency lights in the plane would turn on, lighting up the exit paths and signs. With your eyes already adjusted to the dark, you'd be able to see and find the exits faster, which is crucial for a quick and safe evacuation. Having your vision adjusted also helps you keep your bearings and avoid stumbling or getting hurt as you move through the darkened cabin. It reduces confusion and panic, making the evacuation process smoother and safer for everyone on board. Studies done by aviation experts have shown that dimming the lights for about 20 to 30 minutes improves your ability to see in the dark. Number 22. Do not pair list. Sharing a cockpit with another pilot for long periods can get boring, and conflicts between personalities are bound to happen. Airlines take steps to minimize this danger by allowing pilots to choose who they want to fly with and who they'd rather avoid. This is termed Do Not Pair List. Pilots can add colleagues to this list if they feel they can't work well with them due to their behavior or communication style. By using these lists, airlines prevent pilots from being paired with those they've flagged. While not very common, these measures give pilots a way to address issues before they become serious problems. If incompatible crew members are paired together, it could create a distracting or even hostile environment, especially in situations where split-second decisions are crucial for safety. Eliminating these interpersonal hazards helps pilots stay focused on their flying duties. The lists are kept confidential, and aviation unions fully support these policies. They understand the importance of maintaining clear communication and teamwork in the cockpit, especially during challenging situations. Number 21. Booking the safest seat. When you're booking a flight, you usually aim for an aisle or window seat. But next time, think about picking the middle seat, especially in the back of the plane. Data from previous incidents shows that rear middle seats have a lower fatality rate of around 28%, compared to 44% for seats at the front or over the wings. Front seats are riskier because they're closer to where the plane usually takes the hardest hit during takeoff or landing. They're also more prone to severe whiplash. Even though overwing exit rows may seem like a good choice for evacuations, they're less safe because they're closer to the jet fuel, which can decrease survivability in a crash. On the other hand, the rear cabin provides more distance from potential dangers like debris, flames, and smoke inhalation. Additionally, the back of the plane usually experiences less forceful impacts during a crash. Another benefit of sitting in the middle of the cabin is being closer to flight attendants who can assist with evacuation procedures. Number 20. The tiny holes. Have you ever looked out of an airplane window and spotted a small hole in the glass? These little holes are on all airplane windows for a reason. They serve an important function in regulating pressure. That tiny hole isn't there by accident. It's part of the design, and it's called a breather hole. As the plane goes higher up into the sky, the air pressure outside the cabin decreases while it stays higher inside. This difference in pressure puts stress on the window panes. The breather hole helps by allowing the pressure to equalize slowly between the two layers of glass, which stops the windows from fogging up when there's humidity. Not only that, but the intentional hole also helps regulate the pressure inside the cabin during takeoff and landing. This prevents the uncomfortable sensation of your ears popping by keeping the pressure on the middle glass pane at a comfortable level. This also keeps the window securely sealed against the innermost pane, ensuring the cabin stays safe. Number 19. Flying with the dead. Amidst the excitement of flying high above Earth, there's a sad truth. Sometimes passengers pass away during flights. It's a tragic event, but airlines prepare extensively for such situations, especially on long-haul flights. Some airlines have special storage spaces for deceased passengers. These places, respectfully called corpse cupboards, are designed to keep the bodies out of public view. They're enclosed compartments where the crew can gently secure the body with seat belts until reaching the destination. These compartments are separate from the main cabin to ensure privacy and dignity for both the departed and other passengers. The purpose of these corpse cupboards isn't just to hide the body, but to handle the situation with respect. It's a way to acknowledge the sensitivity of the situation and ensure that everyone on board feels comfortable. Some airlines understand the challenges that aircrew may face and strive to provide support in difficult circumstances. Aviation regulators have set standardized procedures for handling such events, including moving the body, notifying officials, and proper reporting. Number 18. Fascinating hidden bedrooms. Many large aircraft have hidden sleeping areas for the crew rest compartments. These secret sleeping quarters are usually tucked away upstairs behind hidden doors above the main cabin. Inside these crew rest compartments are bunk beds, sleeping pods, and other basic amenities that give pilots and cabin crew a private place to catch some Z's in shifts. This setup ensures that there are always fresh and well-rested staff available to ensure safety and provide top-notch service throughout those super long flights, like ultra-long haul routes. For instance, the massive Airbus A380 upper deck can accommodate up to 13 rest station pods, complete with bathrooms and a lounge area. These pods give the crew a much-needed break during their long shifts. Most of these sleeping chambers have either 2 beds, or a single bunk, and regulations dictate how many hours of rest facilities must be provided. By strategically using these crew rest compartments to alternate sleep schedules on board, the crew can avoid fatigue and the dreaded jet lag that comes with crossing multiple time zones. Number 17. Recirculated fresh air. It's what keeps the air inside the cabin feeling fresh and breathable, even when flying high at 35,000 feet. Surprisingly, the source of this freshness isn't just from the outside, but it's a combination of fresh air from the engines and the recirculated air already inside the cabin. Unlike buildings on the ground, airplanes can't simply open a window or bring in outside air through a pipe. Instead, they have a clever system. The compressor sections of the jet engines draw in air, cool it down to a comfortable temperature, and then route a portion of it into the cabin. This fresh air mixes with the existing cabin air, which is filtered to remove any impurities. The entire volume of air in the cabin is refreshed every few minutes, ensuring that it stays clean and comfortable. Any germs that may be circulating are removed by high-performance filters, similar to those used in hospital systems. Additionally, the cabin is pressurized to maintain a comfortable environment similar to that at sea level. Number 16. Emergency fuel dumping. As a plane quickly goes up to its regular flying height, you might see a trail behind the wings. It looks like clouds, but it's fuel from the plane. This fuel dumping is done on purpose, but it needs arguments. Fuel dumping is a safety step used only in emergencies. If a plane is too heavy to land safely, like if it has to go back shortly after taking off, it dumps some fuel. By getting rid of fuel, the plane gets lighter and can land safely to avoid possible crashes. Tons of extra fuel can be let go of in just a few minutes. Special valves on the wings let the fuel come out at a very fast rate. The fuel turns into vapor because of the air pressure, making it look like a cloud. Instead of gathering on the ground, it spreads out and disappears into the air at different heights. It costs a lot to dump fuel, so they only do it when they have to. When safety is more important than the environment, they choose safety, even if it means doing something controversial. Number 15. The blue ice. Using the restroom on an airplane might seem simple, but have you ever wondered where all that waste goes? It's a pretty clever system. When you flush, a vacuum sucks everything into a sealed tank using very little water. Once the plane lands, special trucks at airports pump out the waste. Sometimes, though, there are leaks in the system. This can cause a strange phenomenon called blue ice or blue juice. This happens when the fluid from the airplane toilets mixes with a blue disinfectant. If there's a leak during the flight, this blue mixture can freeze into ice and even fall from the plane as chunks. There have been cases where big pieces of blue ice have crashed through roofs below the flight path. Even though it's not toxic, people are advised not to touch it. Despite all the fancy engineering of airplane toilets, leaks can still happen. Airlines work quickly to fix any problems. Number 14. Airline separate meals. Airline food often gets a bad reputation, especially in economy class. However, airlines put a lot of effort into ensuring both quality and safety when it comes to meals. One lesser-known safety measure is that pilots and co-pilots are not allowed to eat the same food during a flight. This rule is in place to prevent both pilots from getting sick or having an allergic reaction at the same time. The idea behind this rule is simple. If one pilot's meal is contaminated, the other should still be okay to fly the plane safely. Usually, the pilot gets a meal from a business or first class, while the co-pilot's meal comes from economy class. Additionally, the pilots eat their meals at different times, not together. This adds another layer of protection in case there are any issues with the food. This practice is followed by airlines worldwide to reduce the risk of pilots getting sick from food during a flight. Some might think it's overly cautious, but when there are only 2 pilots on a flight, minimizing any potential risks is essential. Policies like staggered dining help ensure that airline crews can perform their duties safely and effectively. Number 13. Fake locked lavatory. When someone needs to use the bathroom on an airplane, they might find the door locked because someone else is inside. Usually, there's a secret latch outside the lavatory door, hidden behind the sign that says occupied. This latch is only used in serious situations, like if someone inside is not responding when you knock. To activate this emergency unlocking method, a discreet signal is given to the attendants. They can then slide the hidden latch and open the door quickly without causing a fuss. This is important because it can save valuable time, especially if someone inside needs urgent medical help. In some cases, it could even save a person's life. However, it's important to remember that this emergency mechanism is only used as a last resort. There are rules in place to ensure that it's used carefully and respectfully. Before entering, the attendants must loudly announce themselves to protect the privacy and dignity of the person inside. This helps prevent any misunderstandings or embarrassment. Ultimately, only trained staff members are authorized to use this emergency unlocking method. Number 12. Thunderous lightning strikes. As your airplane flies through the sky, you might look out the window and catch a glimpse of lightning flashing by. Don't worry though, the plane is built to handle lightning strikes without any harm to you, the passengers. Here's how it works. The outside of the plane is covered in a special metal mesh that acts like a protective shield. This mesh helps spread out the electrical charge from lightning strikes so that it doesn't cause any damage to the plane. When lightning hits the plane, the electricity flows through the mesh and safely into the air without harming anything inside. Important electronic equipment and fuel tanks are kept safe inside the plane to prevent any problems. Lightning strikes on airplanes happen more often than you might think, with commercial planes getting hit about once a year on average. But thanks to clever engineering, these strikes usually leave behind only minor scorch marks if they leave any evidence at all. Number 11. Secret chime codes. On planes, you might hear some gentle chimes from time to time, but those seemingly random sounds aren't just noise. They're a secret way for flight attendants to communicate important information without passengers even realizing it. Flight attendants have their special language of sounds, all made with chimes, to talk about urgent matters among themselves. For instance, if you hear 3 quick chimes over the intercom, it means there's an emergency and all available crew need to get ready to help. This lets them quietly organize without causing any panic among passengers. If you hear just 1 chime, it's a signal that someone has pressed the call button for assistance. This helps crew members know when a passenger needs help. There are also special chimes that let the crew know when it's time to get meals ready, when the pilots need to know if the cabin is ready for takeoff, and other important things they need to coordinate. Even though different airlines might have slightly different routines, these chimes are a crucial part of keeping everything running smoothly during flights. Number 10. Dangerous bird strikes. Airports are often busy places with lots of birds flying around, which can be dangerous for planes. Modern plane technology has made it safer than you might think when birds hit planes. When a bird gets sucked into an engine, it gets chopped up and spat out the back. Some sensors help pilots know what's going on and adjust things to keep the plane flying safely. The outside of the plane is built strong too, so if a bird hits it, it won't mess up the plane's ability to fly. And there are extra electrical systems just in case something goes wrong, and pilots are trained to handle emergencies like this. Even if a bird does hit a plane, most of the time it's not a big deal. In fact, over 40% of the time, there's no damage at all. And even if there is some damage, there are backup systems to keep everyone safe, even though it might be scary to see birds flying around when you're on a plane. Number 9. Aircraft window and seat designs. Consideration of airplane window shapes and seat colors may seem not important, but these design choices serve specific purposes. Oval windows and blue upholstery are not randomly selected. They are the result of extensive research aimed at enhancing safety and passenger comfort. In the past, square airplane windows were utilized, but they were phased out due to structural weaknesses observed in crashes, particularly at the frame corners. Oval windows were introduced to mitigate these vulnerabilities by eliminating stress points and providing additional strength as they wrap around the cabin. Furthermore, the curvature of oval windows contributes to the overall interior aesthetics. Similarly, the choice of blue fabric for seat upholstery is not arbitrary. It has been determined through aviation psychology studies that blue is the most calming and visually appealing color for passengers. Shades like blue and green have been found to have a soothing effect on anxious flyers, thereby enhancing the overall comfort of the flight experience. Additionally, deeper tones of upholstery serve a practical purpose by concealing dirt and wear more effectively than lighter hues. Number 8. Scary emergency landings. When a pilot announces an emergency landing, scary thoughts might pop into your head, but usually, these diversions are just precautionary measures, not life-threatening situations. Understanding what usually happens during emergencies can help calm your nerves. The most common reasons for emergency landings are passenger health issues, not problems with the plane itself. When this happens, getting medical help becomes the priority, so the pilot asks for permission to land quickly. Other reasons might include small technical problems, needing more fuel in a hurry, or avoiding bad weather up ahead. Emergency landings rarely happen because something is seriously wrong with the plane. Once the pilot safely lands the plane, they know how to handle things, thanks to safety improvements in aviation. But just in case, ground crews are ready to help as soon as the plane lands. So if your flight unexpectedly stops somewhere, don't assume the worst. Most of the time, over 90% of these diversions don't cause any injuries and just lead to small delays. The crew knows how to deal with any unexpected situations while in the air. Number 7. High air traffic. In the vast skies, you might think there's plenty of room between planes flying in the same area, but in reality, flight paths tend to concentrate on certain routes, especially for planes flying high up. These routes often intersect at similar altitudes, and factors like bad weather, holding patterns, and detours can make the airspace even busier. How close can planes get to each other when they're following a set flight path? According to the rules, planes only need to be about 3 miles apart if they're cruising at the same altitude. It's only around 2 minutes of flying time apart. And when the airspace gets crowded near airports, this distance shrinks even more. Imagine how quickly planes traveling at over 500 miles per hour cover those distances. It can seem pretty nerve-wracking to think about how close they are to each other. However, thanks to advanced monitoring technology and strict flight procedures, these close calls are managed safely. Air traffic controllers also make sure that planes crossing paths stay at least 1,000 to 2,000 feet apart. Number 6. Switching off electronic devices. As your plane is getting ready to take off or land, you'll often hear an announcement asking you to put away big electronic devices like laptops. The crew needs to focus during important times like takeoff and landing. They have to be fully alert in both the cockpit and the cabin. If passengers are busy with their devices, it could slow down any emergency evacuations that might be needed. There's the risk of devices flying around if there's turbulence. In rare cases, laptops have even hit passengers and caused injuries. There's a small chance that electronic signals from devices could interfere with the plane's navigation systems. It's not very likely, but aviation authorities want to minimize any risks, especially during critical moments like takeoff and landing. So for just a few minutes at the start and end of your flight, it's best to put away your bigger electronics. You can still use smaller devices like phones if they're in airplane mode, and of course always listen to the crew's instructions for your safety. Number 5. Protective window shades. Have you ever been asked by the flight attendants to raise your window shade before takeoff or landing? It's not just about enjoying the view. When window shades are open, the crew and rescue personnel can quickly assess what's happening outside the aircraft, especially in emergencies like engine fires, smoke, or debris on the runway. This visibility is essential for passengers too, as it helps them adapt to the external light levels, making it easier to exit the plane swiftly during an evacuation. If the shades were closed, it would take longer for everyone to see and get oriented after leaving the dark cabin. Keeping the shades open also helps rescue personnel see inside the plane, which is important for assessing the situation and assisting passengers. Additionally, open shades assist flight attendants in coordinating the evacuation process by signaling to ground crews and communicating any hazards or issues inside the plane. Even though it might be inconvenient to have a bright light shining in when you're trying to rest, It's a small sacrifice for the sake of safety. Number 4. Innovative vacuum toilets. On your next flight, take a moment to marvel at the incredible engineering that makes airplane bathrooms work smoothly even at 35,000 feet. Unlike bathrooms in our homes, where gravity does the work, airplane bathrooms use a smart vacuum system. When you pull the lever, a valve opens, creating a pressure difference that sucks the waste into a sealed tank, eliminating the need for plumbing. This vacuum action is so efficient that it only requires a small amount of fluid, ensuring waste flows easily through the narrow tubes of the aircraft. Once the plane lands, pump trucks come to remove the contents of the tanks for proper disposal. While using the bathroom on a plane might seem ordinary, the vacuum technology used to whisk away waste is far more effective than anything you'd find in a typical home bathroom. This innovative vacuum system is essential for aircraft, providing proper sanitation and lightweight installation. Despite the challenges of flushing waste at high altitudes, passengers can comfortably use the facilities thanks to this impressive engineering. Number 3. Disinfecting germy planes. Upon reaching your seat, you can feel reassured knowing that airline cleaning crews diligently disinfect every surface after each flight. However, studies show that airplanes still harbor surprisingly high levels of bacteria despite these efforts. The reason behind this lies in the quick turnaround times between flights, which prioritize removing visible trash rather than thorough sterilization. High-touch areas like tray tables and armrests are often only lightly cleaned, if at all, while lavatories receive surface cleaning rather than complete disinfection. As passengers constantly cycle through, germs quickly accumulate from hands to surfaces, and air circulation spreads microbes throughout the cabin. Common bugs like E. coli and Staphylococcus have been found in various areas. Bringing sanitizing wipes and avoiding certain surfaces can offer some protection. Airlines have recognized these hygiene risks and have increased cleaning protocols, but achieving hospital-grade cleanliness with every rapid turnaround remains a challenge. For your next flight, consider bringing wipes and focus on the engineering marvels that ensure safe air travel rather than dwelling on the germ-filled reality. Number 2. Experience offboarding. Last, in the rush to get on airplanes first, it might surprise you to learn that the smartest move is actually to board last. This way, you can avoid long lines and get to your seat with less hassle. Since airlines assign seats, it doesn't matter much when you board. If you wait until later, you'll have no trouble finding space for your bags in the overhead bins because those who board early have already put theirs away. You won't have to fight for space in the aisle either, so you can quickly and easily get to your seat. Boarding late also helps speed up the overall boarding process, which means less congestion in the aisles and at the gate. This makes things smoother for both the crew and passengers. Studies have shown that boarding from the back to the front is the most efficient method. If you wait to board, you won't have to spend as much time waiting on the jetway or sitting uncomfortably in your seat while other passengers settle in. Number 1. One-plug doors. The doors are designed to fit into the fuselage of the aircraft, where an emergency exit could be placed if needed. Larger planes with more than 200 passengers are required to have these special doors to meet safety rules. These unique doors, in a clever way, use air pressure to make flying safer. The plug door is made slightly bigger than the opening it fits into. When it's closed, the extra material pushes out against the door frame, creating a tight seal. This seal becomes even tighter when the plane climbs to high altitudes and the inside pressure increases. So, instead of relying only on locks, the pressure itself helps keep the door securely closed during flight. When the plane lands, the pressure inside is equalized with the outside air, making it easy to open the door. Another advantage of the plug design is that it allows for different ways to open it electrically, mechanically, or manually. Plus, there are backup systems in place, to ensure that even if something goes wrong with one part, the door can still be opened safely. Which of these flight secrets do you find interesting? Let us know your answer in the comments section. Like, share, and subscribe for more videos and hacks that will save you life.